Guys, I had to make another episode. So, welcome back. This is a press release, guys. It's not even 4 hours old. There's a new executive order that has been signed from the President of the United States of America. So, let's tune in so everybody can be on one accord and an understanding on what's going on, okay? Please do subscribe as you come in.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few subjects that we're going to discuss, all important, but one in particular important has
Guys, it's not my volume, so you have to read a little bit. It's on their end. Let's continue.
to do with birthright citizenship. And Will, if you would, maybe you could, we'll start it off with what Howard's going to be discussing.
A short while ago, sir, you signed an order relating to the polysilicon industry. This is a series of trade and tariff actions under Section 232 intended to ensure that domestic polysilicon manufacturing
That's
is
what he
properly
signed off
supported
on,
and
guys. That's an
protected
executive
from
order
overseas
sign
dumping
off.
and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip making industry and a number of other industries as well. And like many of your previous trade actions, sir, this is intended to ensure that we're onshoring manufacturing capacity, that we're onshoring our own supply of critical products, and that we're protecting American industry from malign foreign actors in that space.
Thank you.
So polysilicon is sort of the foundational product that makes silicon wafers that become the AI chips and the chips that are in our phones and everything. So the president's policies have brought 50% of production into America. But we need the foundational products made here. Otherwise, we're making the products here, but we need the supply chain here. So this will bring the supply chain here. We're setting prices so that the Chinese can't dump anymore, and we're setting tariffs to say build it here. We've got the industry here. It's too small, and it's going to explode under your leadership.
And we're having massive numbers of, I guess you call them factory plants.
Pay
that
attention,
have to do
guys.
with
This is
the
very important.
manufacturing of chips, more than we've ever had before. Intel, we're very proud of. They've done incredible. They've really been an incredible company. But we're doing some.
You're invited to join Phoenix Energy's next webinar, where you can drill deeper into our
I bet
product offering.
you guys
We
didn't even
currently
know
offer
they had a
two
press
investment
release, huh? It's
unbelievable
okay. That's what I'm here
business.
for.
Chips will have a big percentage of the chip business by the time I leave office, which could be a long time. Who knows? But it could also be fairly quick. They say 2.5 years. We're going to find out. But I just want to say that it's an honor to have worked with a very smart group of people. And we're bringing the chip business back into the United States in a very big way. Jameson, do you have anything to say about that?
Sir, I think you need to put this in the context of everything else that's happening. Manufacturing productivity is the highest it's been in years. We haven't seen any growth like this for forever. Under President Biden, the last part of his presidency, he lost 220,000 manufacturing jobs. The president stabilized
Wow.
this. Now the manufacturing
That
jobs are
many?
going up. So all of these indicators on manufacturing are happening. It's because of tariffs, because of trade actions. It's because of the investment credits you've given people, the tax credits, everything you're doing, the energy policy. All of it is bringing manufacturing back here, protecting American workers and American jobs.
Well, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of dollars. I mean, just money, the money that we've never seen anything like it with no inflation. By the way, everyone said, oh, there'll be inflation. We have very low inflation. We brought inflation way down. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I say the history of our country. And from the Biden
I
administration,
agree.
and we're bringing it way down. So the numbers beyond the money being brought in, the number of factories being built in our country is more now than we have ever seen before. There's never been anything like it. And you're going to see the results. And you're seeing the results already in construction jobs because they're being built all over the country. But in another year, as they start to open, we call it the golden age of America. And that's what it is. Now, if we could talk, Steve, maybe you could discuss what we're dealing with on birthright citizenship. We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate
Executive
decision.
order signed
So
off,
we're
guys. This is the executive
making
order. Pay
adjustments
attention.
because it's very unfair. This was
Two
done
of
for-
them signed off.
This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes, so today the president signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the president mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example.
So how many of you that this makes you happy? It's a happy and sad situation. Leave it in the comment. Let's continue.
Alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first.
I can tell you this, guys, pardon me, the reason being is because a lot of benefits that are not given to the foundational Americans have been fraudulent taken by people from abroad. I'm just saying, I'm not being biased or anything, but this is why they put the law in place. Nobody contested it. Nobody petitioned it. It was an executive decision with the commander-in-chief and his staff. Let's continue.
First time ever in American history to ban birth tourism.
Banned birth tourism is what it's called.
People have talked about not only for years, but for decades. The idea that people come here pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park. But the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then have a U.S. citizen child. It gives them access under this broken system to welfare benefits, ultimately to the voting booth, and all the other rights and privileges that belong solely to Americans. So
I just said that.
practice of
I
birth
just said that because I know
is
my
the signing of
laws,
this order
know
is
yours.
hereby banned. And what that means is that no one in the world is any more allowed to obtain a visa for this fraudulent purpose. It is probably, President Trump has done many historic things on immigration, too many to listen.
Guys, before traveling or anything like that, make sure and ensure that you are making sure your visa is acceptable or that you won't get just make sure your visa, do a spot check on your visa before any traveling. Let's continue.
Now, seal the southern border shut, record deportations, record integrity, stopping foreign terrorist entry,
And I'm really being nice saying that. Let's continue.
record reduction in drug seizures, dismantling criminal cartels, dismantling the gangs, right? Everything he's done that has been so unprecedented. I would put this in the top 3 in terms of importance because it ends what has been one of the gravest and most egregious abuses of the American system, and it keeps American citizenship safe.
Jeez, indeed, for a while now. No disrespect.
That's a big deal. Please, go ahead.
Thank you. On the birth tourism executive order.
Okay.
So we're cracking down very big crackdowns, and this will give us the right to do it in a much more forceful manner. But they've taken birthright citizenship and they've made a joke out of it. And we're actually the only country of size, I think just about the only country, period, that does birthright citizenship. I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we had a bad decision, very unfair decision. Our country suffers because of it, and we're ending it a different way.
President, at the Supreme Court, John Sauer, the Solicitor General, did not have an answer as to how many individuals take advantage of birth tourism. Is there a number that you
I'll tell you right now, hundreds of thousands, okay? hundreds of thousands. You have, one man came in with a family, said he had 56 children. Another one came in, they said they had 98 children. This was not what it was for. This was meant for the babies of slaves. It was right after 1 week or 2 weeks after the Civil
That
War
is
ended.
insane.
This wasn't for wealthy multi-millionaires, billionaires coming in and bringing 15, 20, 30 children along with them. It's become a big
Wow.
business, and we're ending that business, please.
What makes you confident, Mr. President, that this?
My question is, how did one person come in and bring 50, 36 kids, 10 kids? How did they even get through it? Because that's my title and my niche, guys. So there had to be some corruption, in my opinion. In my opinion, pardon me. Educational purposes only. Let's continue.
I think it will. I think, in fact, I asked a very talented person named Will Scharf, who's standing right behind me. Do you want to discuss that, Will? You felt pretty strongly about it.
The law is absolutely clear. What we're talking about, as Stephen said, with respect to birth tourism, something that used to happen incidentally, where somebody who happened to be on vacation here went into labor early and had a baby.
These two guys, this one and this one, they have strong voices. I could identify them by their initials, but I'm not. If you know, you know.
Setting up a system whereby tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people can come to this country in an organized fashion and give birth here purely for the sake of obtaining birthright citizenship. This order takes a number of different actions intended to combat those sorts of organized practices. We look very heavily.
I know a lot of, pardon me, guys, I know a lot of these practices were also made way by of marriage to gain citizenship. It was to the point, guys, some people were marrying their family to get them over here. And I'm not being biased in any way. I'm just speaking facts. Let's continue.
Denying visas to people that we have reason to believe are coming here for that purpose. Visas both for putative parents, but also for the people organizing these rings. There's also obviously a law enforcement component. We'll have a full fact sheet released on this soon, but what we're doing is
great. That's what I need, the fact sheet.
Legally validated means that are clearly within our disposal and targeting them square on to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is frankly, it's action that's overdue. Thankful that President Trump is finally taking decisive action to combat this issue of birth tourism, now that it's been queued up in the way that it has as a result of the Supreme Court's opinion.
We should have been done a long time ago.
And guys, I want to say this, to me, what has happened is because of this, a lot of chaos, havoc, and confusion. And those three things is not what America is made of. That's all. If you've been respectful, that's fine. But if you've been disrespectful, that's another problem. This is why the issue came about, to where it's coming to where he has to sign an executive order on birthrights. Let's continue.
This should have happened years ago, but we're taking care of it now, please.
That's true. I just said that.
Distinguish between a tourist and a birth tourist?
Well, I'll let you discuss it, please.
Yes, happy to. And so, by the way, that's an excellent presentation.
Thank you,
Will.
Stephen.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act.
Section
gives the president this
215A.
authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act.
215A.
Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest
Take that
laws
down,
in
guys,
federal
and make sure you look over it.
That's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order.
Hold on. This is what, let me go back, guys.
By definition,
I'll let you discuss it, please.
This is the statutory that you need to review.
Thank you, Stephen.
This is how that
For those
works.
of you who want to do your
If you,
your research on
right here,
Section 215.
Section 215A,
Gives the president
the Nationality Act. That's what you want to look for.
Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. That's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition, you are here to come for a few weeks, look at what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a tourist, but your true purpose and intent is to go to a baby mill, give birth, and try to mint an American citizen while you're here, then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied.
Mr. President, there is a report that you told donors that you need to get JD Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No, it's,
This is going to cause lots more deportation. Wow. But things have to be done legally, guys. There's no exception to the rule. Let's continue.
I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great. But we're way too early to even be thinking about that. Okay?
He makes me laugh, guys. Just the way he look and everything. President Trump, I tell you, you can't underestimate him. Let's continue.
What is your message on affordability going into the midterm?
Well, that's a good question, but it's sort of simple to answer. I inherited the highest prices ever. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. And we have done an amazing job. And oil prices now are coming down very rapidly. If you look at what's going on, it's down to 75. When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen. Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil down to less than two, in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95. So it passed Tuesday. I was in Iowa.
Oh my.
At a stop, and we had $1.95, another one, $1.85 a gallon. And we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see, as soon as the war ends. And I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's open right now. You know, we have a thing called the blockade headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be said, yeah.
Mr. President, have you lobbied any of the undecided Republicans who will vote tomorrow on Todd Blanche's nomination?
I will lobby if I need to. I will lobby very, very diligently because he's outstanding. He should be good. I mean, I can't imagine he's as good as there is in the country. People have such unbelievable respect for Todd Blanche. So hopefully that won't be necessary. I spoke to some people, I did, but hopefully it'll all work out very well for the country because you're not going to find better than Todd Blanche.
Will you reach out to Senator Murkowski and Senator Cassidy, for instance?
Let's see if we need anybody. I'll reach out to whoever I have to, but anybody voting against him would be doing a great disservice to the country, please.
Mr. President, the deadline for Representative Vance Gilbert to withdraw from his race is coming up next week. Do you believe he should withdraw?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a very sad situation, and I know Max very well, but it's very, very sad that a situation like that takes place. Yeah.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, you know, they prosecuted Peter Navarro, and they
Wow.
prosecuted Steve Bannon, two very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds. But I wasn't. It was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But They prosecuted two people when nothing like that has ever taken place.
Wow, guys, this is big ball playing right here. Unless you know your law, you cannot get on this YouTube and just be saying things because what he just said is absolutely correct. I did an essay on that. Let's continue.
Right.
You did not incur any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion
Sure.
to restock. So why is that request still there? If there's
Well,
no
because we need
shortages?
more all the time, and we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine, the Biden people did, and they were given free of charge, no charge, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have unlimited, virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything. But we have certain types of munitions, which are very, they may not be accurate, they may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have said, oh, there'll be inflation. We have very low inflation. We brought inflation way down. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I say the history of our country, and from the Biden administration, and we're bringing it way down. So the numbers beyond the money being brought in, the number of factories being built in our country is more now than we have ever seen before. There's never been anything like it.
Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip making industry and a number of other industries as well. And like many of your previous trade actions, sir, this is intended to ensure that we're onshoring manufacturing capacity, that we're onshoring our own supply of critical products, and that we're protecting American industry from malign foreign actors in that space.
Thank you.
So polysilicon is sort of the foundational product that makes silicon wafers that become the AI chips and the chips that are in our phones and everything. So the president's policies have brought 50% of production into America. But we need the foundational products made here. Otherwise, we're making the products here, but we need the supply chain here. So this will bring the supply chain here. We're setting prices so that the Chinese can't dump anymore, and we're setting tariffs to say build it here. We've got the industry here. It's too small, and it's going to explode under your leadership.
And we're having a massive number.
This is the first executive order in his hand.
Call them factories or plants built having to do with the manufacturing.
He signed off on 2 executive orders.
Before, Intel, we're very proud of. They've done incredible. They've really been an incredible company. I leave office, which could be a long time. Who knows? But it could also be fairly quick. They say 2.5 years. We're going to find out. But I just want to say that it's an honor to have worked.
From overseas dumping and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip making.
Presidency, he lost 220,000 meg.
They've really been an incredible company. But with
that become the AI chips.
To ensure that
This is the first executive order, guys.
Manufacturing is properly supported and protected from overseas dumping and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details. But polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip making industry and a number of other industries as well.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few subjects that we're going to discuss, all important, but one in particular important having to do with birthright citizenship. And Will, if you would, maybe you could we'll start it off with what Howard's going to be discussing.
So a short while ago, sir, you signed an order relating to the polysilicon industry. This is a series of trade and tariff actions under Section 232 intended to ensure that domestic polysilicon manufacturing is properly supported and protected from overseas dumping and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip making industry and a number of other industries as well. And like many of your previous trade actions, sir, this is intended to ensure that we're onshoring manufacturing capacity, that we're onshoring our own.
Dealing with on birthright citizenship, we had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but
This is a
a
second
very, very
executive
unfortunate
order.
decision. So we're making adjustments. It's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of.
Okay, guys, you can find this on, it's under Trump signs executive orders on birthright, okay? All in Echelon Lifestyle. Please do subscribe.